The Hollywood business.
That's right, break a leg. Hello, everybody. It's Allie from Padfoot Palms, Poodles, and Pals. I apologize for the late start, but we hit some terrible traffic coming back from the store.
What was that?
So, it sounds like somebody knocked over a bowl.
Oh, okay. Sorry for the
So anyway, I'm just going to kind of get started here. Hey, we've got people joining. Hello. Crystal's here and Tammy. Hey guys, if you would just pop me a comment down in the comment section so that I know that the comments are working. That would be a huge help for me. Hey, Crystal's here. She said I'm here. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so sorry I'm late. So, but we're doing good. Side note, if you go to Starbucks and you just want a flavored water, hey Tammy, get a tall water or a grande, whatever size you want, and ask them to put all of the dehydrated fruit in it for you, and it's just like a little flavored water. You heard it here first, folks. I learned it from TikTok. So, I have been running around like a wild woman. So let's go ahead and show you what we have here. So bear with me. I'm gonna turn you guys around here. Here's all the dogs. Here's Suze.
Hey everybody.
She was a huge help today, by the way. Okay, so this is what we picked up from the Asian market. And I'll have a video where I talk about this more. But I was super excited to find this specifically, and Suze was actually the one who found it for me.
That's fantastic.
And I don't know if you can see, but it's actually liver, hearts, necks, and gizzards and chicken feet all in one package.
And it was only...
And it was $4.14.
Fantastic.
Right? I mean, just shut the front door. That's amazing. So, hi Sabrina. Oh, I'm missing people. Hi Angela. Okay, great. So, no, Sega, get down. Down.
I'm just going to push this just a little.
She's very excited.
Sega's new haircut. Does everybody see it?
I posted it in the group. Sega was groomed today, and she looks like $1 million. So, as you guys already know, right, we've got our supplements that we ordered, right? And if you're watching this on the replay or you didn't order them, that's totally fine. I'm going to put the recipe in the description box when I post this, so don't panic. I've gone ahead and started a few items just to get us going because I want to be able to have time to answer questions as we go. Excuse me, ma'am. No, thank you.
She's like, give me the organ meat.
Right, she's like, it smells good. Sega, get down. Get down. Good girl, yes. Okay, so let me go back and say hi to people. Okay, I think we're caught up. Crystal said my boyfriend is working, so he can't watch right now. Is this going to be on YouTube too? Yes, actually, I was just saying that. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'll save the recording both in this group so that you guys can come back and take a look at it. I know that a lot of people had plans tonight. Hey, what's going on?
Well, they're competing for food.
Oh, do you need me to hand you
one
food?
bowl.
Okay.
So if you could just hand me some food before we have a riot.
This is live television, people. This is what happens. Okay, hang on.
I need...
Okay, you need a bowl of food?
2 bowls at least.
Okay. All right, here's one.
Okay.
And let me get you another one. Hang on.
Okay. So,
hang on, everybody. Okay. Okay, here you go.
okay.
If you'll just spread those out for me.
Yeah.
Like you can put one over on the other side under the bar, or put some in this bowl that's on the bar.
I got it. It's all done.
Okay, so make sure everybody has room.
Velocity set on the edge of
Okay, well, velocity is very special. Okay, great. Hey, more people are joining. Hello. Hey, Allison's here. Fantastic. Okay, so you haven't missed anything yet. I was just kind of getting started. So, let's just jump right into it. So we are going to start with the raw recipe first. Are we at 7 o'clock? Almost. We're going to start with the raw recipe first. So, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you over so you guys can see here. So I know that we have some people that need to leave early, so I just wanted to go ahead and get some things pre-measured. So this is the meat and chicken feet for this recipe. So we've got your ground beef right here. Oh, can you see? Sorry, I had you crooked there. We've got our chicken thigh. We've got chicken feet, which these were kind of small. That's why I think there's like 4 or 5 of them in there. We've got chicken hearts. Here's our salmon over here, the canned salmon. And then this little bit right here is the liver, which is a very, very small amount. And as you can see, I've got them on my food scale here. I highly recommend that if you don't have one of those, you get one, because it's gonna make your life a lot easier. So, the other thing that I wanted to point out, see if I can get you in close here. So you see how these hearts are really fatty? Here, I'm trying not to touch them, hang on, because then I'll have to wash my hands 50 times during the video. Okay, there we go, perfect example. Okay, can you see that? So you see how that chicken heart is really fatty? So what you want to do is you want to trim that fat off. Now, the reason that you want to trim that fat off of the hearts is because we've already got enough fat in our recipe with the ground beef, right? We're using an 80-20 mixture, and this is a puppy recipe. Hey, Billy. All right, I'm on the big screen. Look, I'm like, it's like a real studio. I'm sweating and everything. Great, I'm so glad you could make it. Okay, hey, Christy's here. Hey, Christy. Okay, so we're using an 80-20 blend for our ground beef, right? Which means it's got 20% fat already in it, which is perfect. I don't want anybody to overthink the fat, but I just want you to pay attention to it, because if you give your puppy too much fat, that is a recipe for diarrhea. Excuse me, sir. Shazam, what are you doing? He's like, I'm looking for the meat. I didn't see it. Hey, buddy, Shazam got over here. So, you want to make sure that you trim that fat off. Now, the other thing that I want to show you, let me spin you around here. I'm sorry, I'm spinning you guys all over the place. You see these chicken thighs? Now, it was only $4.88 for this package, which is fantastic and cheap. But part of what you're getting is a lot of fat. Can you guys see what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay, so there's a lot of fat here. You want to trim that off. Again, if you don't get all of it off, not the end of the world, but you do want to trim some of it. And I want to show you Shazam. Hang on. What are you doing? Yeah, are you sitting? That's right, because you're a good boy. You're a good boy. We have been working on his sit, and now he sits for everything. Okay. You're a good boy. I know you're wanting me to give you something. Okay. Okay, Angela said kitchen shear scissors work great to trim fat off of hearts. Yes, Angela, you are the winner. Okay, so you can do it with a knife, or these are super cheap. The best place to get stuff like this, the dollar store. If you have an IKEA near you, IKEA has some that are like $1 or $2 for like a set of them. So yeah, these make cutting fat off a whole lot easier. Now, I'm not going to trim the fat for these just because, you know, we're on a little bit of a schedule because we have some people that need to leave early. So, but I want you guys to trim the fat either off of the chicken hearts. Don't worry about the beef mixture, that's good. Now, let's say you went to the store and there was only 90-10 for a beef mix, right? Okay, that's significantly less fat. So then I would say, okay, for the puppy recipe, feeding puppies, you want that fat in there. So I would then make the choice to say, okay, we're gonna leave a little bit of fat on the chicken. If there's fat on the hearts, we're gonna leave it, right? So you wanna kind of balance it out there. For puppies, it's very, very important that they get enough fat in their diet. For adults, you could go with a leaner cut and it wouldn't be a problem. Okay. Crystal said, when I get my new puppy, how old do you think is a good age to start raw feeding him? I know I have to keep him on his kibble. The breeder is putting him on for 2 to 3 weeks. Crystal, you're right on point. Good. So there are a few schools of thought when it comes to raw feeding. Some experienced raw feeders will say, you start your puppy right from the beginning. There are breeders who start their puppies the moment that they wean. My thing is, most puppies are weaned to kibble, and I find that they just don't have the digestive stamina to start right out on raw. Now, if you're transitioning from a kibble to a raw, right, you might want to consider doing a longer transition time, which is anything more than 14 days. 14 days is kind of your standard transitioning time. So as far as how old to start your puppy, I would say after your 2 to 3 weeks of feeding the breeder food, assuming that your puppy is adjusting well, then absolutely you could start them on raw. The other thing you could do is you can start giving them raw as a treat. So like with these chicken hearts or...
Chicken feet especially.
Yeah, the chicken feet, that's perfect for puppies. You know, the chicken hearts, the chicken necks, you could start with something like that as a treat and then kind of gradually work your way up to feeding a full raw. You guys, it's like chaos back behind the camera here. Okay, so the other thing that I did,
that is good stuff,
to kind of get us started here, let me turn it, is I went ahead and cooked the oatmeal. Now, this is gonna look like a lot of oatmeal, but I made the oatmeal to do this recipe twice because I'm gonna do one raw version and one cooked version. So that's why it looks like a ton of oatmeal. A couple of things to keep in mind whenever you're cooking a starch or a grain for a dog's recipe, overcook it, oversaturate it. Now, does that mean that I want you to burn your oatmeal or burn your rice? No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is we have a certain texture, right? That we would cook something like rice is a good example, right? We like for rice, guys, they're getting crazy. You guys are crazy. We have a certain texture that we want things cooked to, right? Nobody wants to eat rice that's mush unless you're making like a rice pudding. So with dog food, because it makes it easier for their body to break it down, you do want to cook it to that level. So for this batch of oatmeal, I used way more water than it called for, and I cooked it longer than it calls for. So those are some things that you want to keep in mind. And that goes for starches, grains that you're adding to your dog food. So, guys, you're just over here scavenging. Okay, let me make sure I haven't missed any questions. Okay, great. Okay, we're doing good so far. Okay, so for our raw preparation, let's go. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you, sorry. If you don't have a grinder or a mortar and pestle, hang on. Mortar and pestle. So you could put your chia seeds in here, right? If you don't have a grinder, grind them up. Bob's your uncle. Now, if you don't have that, that's okay. I do. I do have an Uncle Bobby. That's why I like to say that. So if you don't have that, or you can't grind them, that's okay. Soak them in water, like I did here. Now these, guys, can you get them over with you, please?
Yeah, what happened? They got over it.
Yeah, they all came over and decided they were gonna have a poodle party.
Come on, let's get a treat. I'm gonna get you a treat. Where's the treat?
This is my life.
Where's the treat stuff?
It's in, they have a bin up here, a basket. They're right there.
Ooh.
There you go. Get the buffalo treats.
All right, check this out. Come here.
All right. Come on. Go on. It's okay. You can fit through there. You went through there to get in here. Go on. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so you can soak your chia seeds, or any seeds for that matter, that you might see in a recipe. A lot of times you'll see hemp hearts, same thing. If you can't grind them, you can soak them. Now chia seeds do this wonderful thing when they're soaked in water. And as you can see, they're becoming gelatinous in there, soaking up all the water, which is great. Okay, so I wanted to show you that. The other thing that I wanted to show you is, let's say it's around Thanksgiving time and you can't find pureed pumpkin, which happens a lot. I don't know what people are doing with pumpkin puree, but sometimes like you can't find it in the store for weeks. I can't explain it. I would love to know what everybody's doing. Making pumpkin spice everything, I'm sure, and I'm just not hip to it. The other thing that you can do is use pumpkin powder. Now, I have shown these on my videos before. This is the bulk supplement pumpkin powder. You can get it off of Amazon. I highly recommend. This is actually a human supplement. This is not a dog supplement. You can get pumpkin powder so much cheaper if you do it like this, rather than buying the pumpkin powder that's, you know, digestive aid for dogs. So, just a little side note. Okay. Okay, great. So, stay here. Let me get a bowl. I don't have one that's clean.
Yeah, I washed the dishes.
Great. Ba-da-na-na. Okay, if you guys watched my recent video, you saw where I talked about, I got these bowls on Chewy.com on sale. These are glass bowls. If you're going to feed raw, you're going to either need to do glass or stainless steel. Those are your only two options. I highly recommend glass because it's easier to sanitize. You can very clearly see if there's anything on it. So anyway, I've got a whole video on bowls, so I won't go into that, but here's our bowl. So let me move you over here so you can see. Can you see? Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, this is for the raw preparation, and the only reason why I'm using tongs is because I don't want to have to run and wash my hands every 5 seconds. Normally, I just use my hands and run and wash my hands every 5 seconds. So, tongs are not required. Okay, so we've got our chicken, and what I'm gonna do is kind of open it up here and get a knife. And you don't have to dirty up 20 gabillion bowls. Now, for a large breed dog, you don't need to cut it into tiny little pieces. Okay? Again, there's no reason to make more work for yourself. If you have a dog that gulps down their food, then absolutely, you know, cut it into smaller pieces. But for this, I'm just going to kind of get it into manageable pieces because I'm going to be giving this bowl to a large breed dog. So as you can see, that's a pretty good sized chunk. And the dogs will still chew that up. But what you're gonna have to do is, if it's your first time feeding a raw meal, you just need to test your dog and see how they're gonna do. Are they gonna gulp it down? A lot of dogs get really, really excited about raw meat, and so they'll kind of scarf it down. Okay. Okay, great. So we got that all cut up. Looks good. Okay. Next up, there we got our chicken hearts. Okay, that got crazy. We got our chicken hearts. I don't do anything fancy or pretty. We got our liver. Go ahead and put that in the bowl.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
Let the chicken cross the road
Why did the chicken cross the road?
to get to the other side.
You're fired. Okay, then we got our ground beef. And what I like to do with the chicken feet is just set them right on top. And we did end up with 5 feet in here to meet the weight requirements. Okay, here's our salmon. Okay. Now, let me get my spoon. Okay. Now we're going to take our chia seeds. Guys,
Hey,
we got our chia seeds. And I got enough for both recipes in here. So that's why I have extra. Thank you. Okay,
and they're all
so there's that. Now we've got our pumpkin, which if you're following the recipe to the T, yours will be actual pumpkin puree. Mine, unfortunately, is powder because they were out at the store. Okay, so there's that. Now, we're going to add our oats. The dogs are so excited, you guys.
They're what, Sega is watching everything you're doing.
Yeah. Now, you can mix these together. You can mix it up. It doesn't have to be, you know, all separated out like I have it here. As a matter of fact, if you're using a powder, like pumpkin powder, go ahead and mix it into the meat and oatmeal, just because, you know, it makes it easier for them to eat it. Okay. And you guys will see those people that make like the really beautiful bowls. That ain't me, babe. That ain't me. Hey, get down. Velocity.
Velocity. Come
Get
here.
down. Down.
She's like with its organ meat.
I know, she's so excited. Okay, then we've got our kelp, which I have the pills, and you can just smush those down into your oatmeal. We've got our Thron capsules, And I'm going to open up the capsules. Let me just show you guys here. Here's our Thrawn capsules.
There's nothing there.
Here they are, right here. And you just, oh, hang on, okay. You just open up the capsules and mix it right into the oats. Now, if you guys stick around for the cooked recipe, you'll notice that you put the supplements in at the end. I mean, obviously we're putting them in at the end with the raw preparation because that's what you do. But for the cooked preparation, you also put them in at the end. Ideally, you want your food to be cooled, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, Lynette said, how would you portion this? Got a tiny 4.5 and a 6.5 pound dog. Okay, how would you portion these for a 4.5 pound dog? So what you'd have to do is look at the calories for the recipe. I got stuff on my hand, hang on. You'd have to look at the calories for the recipe, and you could either figure it out by calories, how much your dog needs to eat in a day, which is based off of their activity level, their age, how much they weigh, if they're spayed or neutered, if they're a puppy or an adult or a senior, right? You can do all of that. Or there is a really kind of basic model that you can use where you calculate okay, so for puppies, it's anywhere from 6 to 10% of their body weight. And for adults, it's around 3% or 3.5 if they're very active. And it can be a little less than that for seniors. So you'll have to figure out how much your dog would eat, right, based on their weight. So you'd have to calculate that out. And you can do that with Google or with a calculator. It's not terribly hard. It's just like, what is, 6% of 4.5 pounds, right, if you have a puppy. So what other kinds of meat other than chicken can be used? So for this recipe, it really calls for chicken. Now, if you were in a pinch and let's say you couldn't find any chicken thighs, or I'm assuming this question is because your dog is allergic to chicken, you could switch it out for that portion of the recipe. You could switch it out for beef. It won't be completely balanced, but it will be close enough that it would be fine. Tiffany said, can fruit and veggies be added? Yes, and that is a great question. So here's our delicious dog food bowl. It looks terrible, you guys. Okay, so I wanted to give you some ideas for some other things that you can add. Oh, sorry, hang on. I forgot the oil. Sorry, hang on. Hold, please. Okay, if I could get this open, that would be great. Now, this stuff comes out quickly, so if you just cut just a little hole in it, you'll save yourself from dumping a whole bunch into the food. 1 and 2. Okay. Because it only needs a very, very little bit. So, nope, get down. Okay, so what are some things that you can add to your dog's food, fruits and veggies wise? Okay, hang on. Stay with me. Velocity, you get down. Get down. Okay. You could add wheatgrass. I've done a video all about wheatgrass. If your dog has a wheat allergy, this will be fine. It's just grass. Dogs love this. If you have a dog that likes to go outside and eat grass, this is a much better option. And all you do is just cut it off and put it in the food. You can cut it up into small pieces if you'd like, or If you, you know, want to leave it as long stalks, do that. I like to, if I'm going to add it into food, I'll cut it up into smaller pieces. If I'm going to leave it out just for them to graze on it, what I'll do is cut off a big piece and put it on a separate plate for them to just graze as they want to.
Shazam, come here.
Okay?
Shazam.
Other options, you can add
Shazam.
fish oils, right? This is the sardine oil.
You okay? You okay?
Fruits and veggies.
You alright?
You could cut up an apple, right? No core. You can cut up an apple. I accidentally got the pills of kelp. How many pills? I would do 2. That's what I did. Do 2 for each batch of the recipe. So if you're feeding a larger dog and you need to make more of it, do 2. Because the pills are not as potent as the powder. But that's okay. Allison, I did the same thing. It's okay. So, apples, right? Green pepper. This is perfect option, right? So we ate part of this and now it's starting to dry out. This would be fantastic to add into their food.
Shazam.
Okay?
Sorry.
It's okay. They're just playing.
Yeah, but they're the old man.
Dried cranberries. This is a really great option. Make sure that they don't have sugar on them. It's a little bit more challenging to find, but you can find them. So they're just dried cranberries. They're just plain. So those are very good. Very good for urinary health, right? For UTIs and whatnot. For puppies, I like to put unsweetened coconut flakes in their food. Just like a pinch. Not a whole lot. But this is another good source of natural fats that are very good. They love the flavor. So this is another really good option. This one, I'm super excited to try. So these are quail eggs, but they're actually in a can. They're in water. Super excited about this. Yeah, Sue's found these. She's over there pointing to herself. Fantastic. So we get quail eggs to add to our dog's food, but the problem is they come in a pack of 24. They're usually like $5 or $6. This was cheap. This is like $2 for this can. And there's 15 ounces in here. You have to keep them in the fridge. Then you've got to use them up. So especially if you have a little dog, right? I mean, you can only give them 1 little quail egg a day. So very excited to try these. So that'll be a good option. Okay. Yeah, so there's some more options to add to food. Angela's like, quail egg in a can? Yes. Thank you, Asian grocery store. Sue's found that and I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. I didn't even know that was a thing.
How much were
they were like $2.
That's great.
Yeah, for 15 ounces. So what I'm gonna do, oh, it says 20 count. Oh my God, is there 20 eggs in here?
That's fabulous. We got 'em
Okay,
stuck
so I don't know if they're in the shell or if they've been taken out of the shell. I like to feed quail eggs
and the shell.
and with the shell, but if these are taken out of the shell, I mean, obviously that's fine. Yeah, and they're just in water. I totally missed the part where it says 20 count. It actually says 20 count up. Not sure what that means.
It means
It could be
11.
more than 20.
Could possibly be 21
Yeah.
or 22.
Yeah, so super excited about that.
Or you may be the unlucky one and only get 2.
Angela said, I will be looking for them. $2 is a great price. Yeah. I mean, the quail eggs, we can get them at our local farmer's market. Again, it's like $6 for a pack. Okay, Allison said, so basically give Chevy this whole double batch for dinner, 70 pounds. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. I think when I weighed it, it was like a pound of food. So, yeah, probably. Or you can make a big batch, right? So that you can then split it into 2 meals. Yeah, he's probably gonna love it. Tiffany said, can't wait for a no chicken recipe, chicken allergy here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really wanted to do a recipe this first go round that didn't have chicken, but I just wanted to make sure that it was things that people could find in their local grocery store. So, and also I didn't want you guys to have to spend, you know, $100 in supplements, right, to be able to do it. So that's why I chose this recipe. But yes, Tiffany, I'm going to do more of these, and we'll do more recipes. And like I said, you can switch out the chicken portion for beef. And then for the chicken feet, you'd have to switch that out. You could do beef ribs. I think that probably 1 large beef rib would be enough. Or you could just use a calcium supplement. That's your other option. And the calcium supplements, get the powdered one, or you can do an eggshell. You can bake eggshells. Shells?
All right.
I don't know what just happened there. You could bake you some eggshells. You could bake eggshells and then crush them right into a powder. And you can use that. And that's, you give that based on the weight of your dog. So yeah. Okay, great. We did good. You guys, we knocked that out in like 30 minutes. You guys are awesome. Okay. Who's ready for the cooked recipe? Do we have more questions? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys pop questions in there. I'm gonna refill my water here. Iceland, what are you doing? Shh, guys, it's okay. It's just me. I live here. It's okay. No, you get down. Okay. Do we have a question? Ooh, Tiffany's got a great question. Why would you do a cooked recipe versus a raw recipe? Sega, down. Down. Get down. Yes, good girl. Okay, so raw dog food, or raw food in general, which it is phenomenal, right? It's biologically appropriate for dogs. It allows them to get the most nutrients from the food. It's, you know, you'll hear people say it's the best of the best. Well, technically, the best of the best is cooked dog food, as long as it's not overcooked, because it's easier for them to digest, right? Just like it's easier for us to digest, now we can't eat raw meat, but just like it's easier for us to digest because, you know, proteins are starting to break down, right? Think of it like in terms of medium rare. So why would you do a cooked recipe? Let me give you a scenario. Bear, our senior rescue pom, needed to have a tooth extracted. And he was going to have a wound on the inside of his mouth. Now, he was raw fed at the time, and I decided that I did not want to put him at increased risk of bacteria getting into that wound and potentially causing a problem. So I opted to lightly cook his food. Now, you don't cook bones, right? We all know, no cooked bones. But we opted to do the calcium. We did the powdered calcium, and I lightly cooked all of his food. So, as with anything that's raw, right, it's gonna have bacteria. Now, dogs' bodies are designed to be able to handle that, but not every dog is the same. So you will find, like I was talking about earlier with puppies, they are just starting out in their life and they don't have the digestive enzymes or the microbiome in their gut yet, right? Because they haven't been alive for very long, to be able to handle all of the raw food. Now, you can slowly build up to that. I'm not saying that it can't be done, but some people opt to just do cooked instead. There's slightly more work, right? Obviously, because you have to cook it. But it's really not that bad. It's not that bad at all. Some other reasons to cook the food: if you have someone who is immune compromised in your home or who may be visiting, or if you have small children, those people may opt to cook their food, their dog's food. So yeah, there's a lot of really good reasons to cook the food. And if you have a dog that likes to take their food and then go to another room to eat it, then maybe a cooked option is better for you, unless you want to feed them somewhere that's contained, like in a crate or in a pen or something like that. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why cooked is also a really fantastic option. It really just depends on what is the right diet choice for you, for your dog, and that, you know, that you can do prep wise. So yeah, but that was a great question. Okay, let me scroll up here. Okay. Let's see, I asked a question about chicken feet somewhere up there. Crystal, can you ask it again for me? I'm sorry. I don't see it. It got lost in the shuffle. I saw your post on krill oil the other day. Can you talk a little bit about it? Yeah, sure. So krill is just another really fantastic option if you're not wanting to do a fish oil, right? It's a source of omega-3s. With any supplement, I don't advise that you use the same thing over and over and over again, unless it's something that's really straightforward, like a calcium powder. So, for example, we had been using a salmon oil. Now we're going to be switching to the sardine omega-3 oil blend from Nature's Logic. Next up, we'll do, when this is gone, we'll do krill oil. And then after that, we may switch to, maybe a capsule form that you can just cut and open up the capsule and put it in there. So you're not doing the same thing all the time. Just like with your dog's proteins and foods and veggies, fruits and veggies that you add, right? You don't do the same thing over and over again every single time you make a batch of food. You want to vary it up a little bit so that they really have an opportunity to get the most nutrients they can from the food. So yeah, so krill oil is just one of those, put it in your pocket, rainy day suggestions, right? Whenever you use up your fish oil, switch off to that and give it a try. Plus, some dogs really don't like fish oil, but for some reason, they take to the krill oil well. So if your dog doesn't like things that are really fishy, because these fish oils, they tend to be really strong smelling, then that could also be a good option for you. Okay. Christy says, I've been doing carrots for a treat for my puppy. What other foods can I give for a treat? Well, if you were looking to do something raw, you could do the chicken feet, you could do a chicken neck. If you're looking to do something in the dehydrated range, then you could do any number of dehydrated treats. There's buffalo scapula, bully sticks, trachea. I have a whole list in the group if you go into the file section, there's a whole list. There's two lists. There's one that's healthy chews and another one that's bones. And it talks all about bones and what different sizes to use. Okay. I have one picky eater that will only eat lightly cooked. There you go. See, Angela's got a picky eater that says, hey, Mom, you better cook my food. Better get on it. So yeah, sometimes with a picky eater, cooking is definitely the way to go because it really releases, you know, all that smells, and it smells good, and they can see you making it and they get excited. Sabrina said, what do you feed Iceland? That looks like a lot for her to manage. Yeah. So this is just, I wanted you guys to see how much food this makes. I mean, this is a pound of food. It's actually more than a pound of food. But, I mean, it's more than a pound of food for that one recipe. Now, when I make the video that's the follow-up to this, where I show you me grocery shopping and all that, I'm actually going to do the price breakdown so that you can see how much this cost, because it's not nearly as expensive as people think it is to feed raw or potentially home cooked, especially if you're only feeding a single dog or a small dog. So yeah, I know this looks like a lot of food, but I wanted to make the full recipe just to show it to you guys. Now, if I was going to feed this to Iceland, obviously she would not need this much food, not even in a day. So what I would do is I would take out a chicken foot, and I would take out, you know, some of the oatmeal, all of the other components, and basically I would split this into 3 or 4 smaller meals, and then give her the chicken feet as chews throughout the day. Because Pomeranians and small dogs in general are notorious for not eating all of their food at one time. Although you will find that if you start feeding fresh food, they will do better. If you've got a really picky eater, they still might not eat a ton. But yeah, if I was to put this on the floor, she would start scarfing it down and would be ready to defend it against any who would come dare her for the bowl. So, but yeah, obviously this would be way too much food for her. So she is a spayed Pomeranian female adult. And so what I would do is calculate her weight, which is about 5.5 pounds. So I would calculate and find out what is 3% of her body weight in ounces. And then I would take that much in food, right, to then feed her. So yeah. Okay, I saw some questions. Let me go back. Okay, there's a question about Iceland. Okay, my dog isn't a big fan of chicken feet. What can I replace with that in the recipe? So if your dog is not a fan of chicken feet, I would honestly just do either eggshell or powdered calcium. And then I'll post a chart that shows you, you know, how much your dog weighs and how much calcium in milligrams needs to be in their food. And I would just do it that way. There are experienced raw feeders that will just feed the meat and organ portion and then feed the bones separately. But because this is a puppy recipe designed for puppies, I wanted to show you guys how to do it by the book, right? You're weighing things out, right? You're using your scale, you're, you know, following it. You're getting the exact supplements that it says to get, that sort of thing. Just to show you, you know, kind of the process that you're going through. Okay. Get my drink. Okay. What do you feed your babies? So we are actually doing a combination of freeze-dried, kibble, raw, and sometimes home-cooked. We do it all. So some days it's just kibble, right? If we are just slammed, you know, if it's a busy day at work and I don't have time to prep everything or get it in the bowls. The only thing, having multiple dogs and, you know, feeding them fresh food is I do have to stand and watch them to make sure that they're not trying to bully somebody else out of their bowl. And when I say bully, I just mean that they, you know, get over there and get their nose in it. Nobody here is food aggressive. You know, but they get very excited about the fresh food. So, yeah. So we're doing a combination of all of the above. Okay. Keisha says, can you cook commercial raw food lightly to bring out the aromas? I purchased Darwin's for my cats and Nature's Logic patties for my dogs. Okay, so this is a very good question. Technically, the answer is no, especially if it contains actual ground bone. Now, that is the steadfast rule, but I'm going to put a little but in here for you. Cats can be so challenging sometimes. So, if you wanted to take it, let's say it's a patty, you put a little bit of oil in the pan, and you sear it on one side, sear it on the other, and the rest of it is completely raw, I would say that's fine, and you can do that. A lot of times, especially for cats, you have to do that just to get them started with it. When I had cats, it took me 3 months to get them switched to raw food. And I don't say that to discourage you if you have cats. I say that so that you give yourself the leeway of, okay, cats are challenging, but once you get them to do it, once you find out what they like, then it's smooth sailing. So I say that so that you don't give up. Because a lot of people will just throw down a frozen nugget and their cat looks at it and goes, I'm not eating that. I will starve myself to death, which is true. Cats will starve themselves to death. Dogs will not. Cats will. So, yeah. So if you wanted to do something like that and just sear it on both sides and see if they'll take it, that's good. Now, if you want to continue to cook it from that point, I do not recommend that. I recommend that you do a DIY yourself, just like I did, recipe, right? Obviously, you'll need a cat recipe for a cat, and do it yourself so that you can cook it and then add the supplements to it. What you don't want to do is cook something that has ground bone in it because they won't be able to digest the bone. So, but that was a great question. Keisha said, oh my God, tell me about it. I'm trying to get them to eat raw with their wet and they wouldn't eat it at all. Okay, let's talk about cats. There's a reason why dogs are my specialty, and it's not because I don't love cats, because I do. I actually love all animals, but cats are so challenging. Okay, so you can try searing the food, right? If you're doing like a patty or a little nugget, you can try mixing it in with the canned food. You can try doing the canned and raw just really close together side by side. One of my cats, to trick him into eating the raw food and switching him over to raw, I had to literally do it 1 spoonful at a time. And what I did was I had a journal in my kitchen and I would scoop out 1 scoop of raw, like a tablespoon, mix it into his canned food so that he couldn't find it or taste it. It had to be the same protein as whatever was in that canned food so that it wouldn't, stand out. And then I would feed it to him. And I did that each time, 1 spoonful for a whole week. So 1 tablespoon mixed into his food every day for a week. And then the next week, I would try to add 2 spoonfuls and see if he'd go for it. If he didn't, then I'd cut it back to 1.5. And then we'd do 1.5 spoonfuls mixed into his food for a week. And then so on and so on and so on and so on and so forth. Right? But it worked. And eventually I had, you know, almost no canned food. It was all raw, and he was completely switched over, and he was none the wiser. Cats are just finicky. So, okay, great. Awesome. Okay, well, we got some really good questions. I know that there are a lot of people that have questions about specifically how much they should feed their dog. So, like I said earlier, you're going to have to calculate and see how much your dog needs based on their age, their weight, right? This is a puppy recipe. We'll be doing an adult recipe later, which is much easier because then it's just, you just start at 3% of their body weight and go from there. Oh, the other thing that I want to mention, if you are feeding a puppy, is you don't just feed, let's say 6% of their body weight forever. You actually need to weigh your puppy every 2 to 3 weeks because obviously your puppy is growing, right? So the amount of food that they will need to eat will increase over time. So that's one of the reasons why vets get so angry with people about feeding home cooked or DIY raw, is because they don't increase as the puppy grows. And you got to do that, especially if you have a large breed puppy, because they just grow so fast. So, okay, great. Well, we don't have any more questions for now. And all of the dogs are laying down right on the other side of my counter here. I'm going to see if I can turn you around so that you can see them. You're funny. Iceland, you want to come here and say hi to everybody? Come here. He's a good girl. Come here. Okay. She's not getting special treatment. Calm down. Everybody just jumped up. Iceland, say hi to everybody. She says, hello. I'm not interested in you. I'm only interested in the food. Yeah? You're trying to trick me. Yeah, I know you. You're trying to trick me. Oh, thank you, Crystal. She said, I love your walls. Thank you. Suze, did you hear that? You got a compliment on your walls.
Oh, the bricks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. She painted those. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. Okay, great. Do you want a little snack? Do you want me to give you a little snack? You can't tell anybody. All the meat is right here in front of me, so. Here. You want a little snack? Thank you. Okay. Don't tell anybody. Go on. Everybody's looking around now. Nope, we're good. We're good. Okay. Keisha says, nope. No, Sega. You get down. Do you have to transition your proteins? For example, I use Nature's Logic. If I want to switch from beef to pork or whatever, should I do it like it's a brand new food? Yes. Does that also apply to raw? Yes. Raw, wet, kibble, yes. Okay. Regardless of what type of food that you're feeding, to begin with, you should always transition slowly. You're just better off that way. You know, when you're first starting out, you don't know what might trigger your dog to suddenly have a bout of diarrhea. So it's best to just transition slowly. Now, having said that, will you have to do that forever? A lot of that depends on your dog, right? Every dog is different. But for the most part, no. Your transition time will start to drop as you continue to transition. And there are some dogs that take so well to it that they eat much like humans do, right? We don't eat the same thing every day for multiple days in a row. So they can start eating different things at different meals, and one meal and then a different meal, and then, right? And their body can support it and it doesn't give them digestive upset. So yeah, so to start with, yes. And if you are looking for more detailed information about transitioning and rotation, I have a whole video on rotation that I can link that's up on my YouTube channel, and where I go in depth about all your rotation options, all of your transition options. There's a couple different ways to do it, what to look for, what supplements to add, all that fun stuff. So you might find that video helpful. Okay, great. Okay. Did we have anybody here that wanted to do a cooked version of this recipe? Just let me know, because we had a lot of people that had to leave early, so they're no longer watching. Awesome, I'll check that out. Thanks so much. You're very welcome. Sabrina said, I bought a rotisserie chicken yesterday. I gave my Pom white meat and she wouldn't eat it. Okay. You have a very special Pomeranian. Okay, great. Okay, we do have... Good. Okay. Yeah, it might just be chicken. I find that beef tends to go over better with dogs. So...
And with Shazam's pork.
Yeah, Shazam loves pork. Okay, great. Okay, good. So we've got a couple of people still here that want to see the cooked version. Fantastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of clean up a little bit. So if you guys, you need to take a break or something, I know we've kind of been talking for an hour. If you want to take a break, get something to drink, give me a few minutes to clean up, then what I'm going to do is I'll just clean up and get us set up for the next round, and then we'll be all set. Okay? I'm not going to turn the live off, so just talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic.
Really? Are you verklempt? Are you verklempt now?
That's a Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah, the verklempt.
If you don't know, then you're too young. Okay, so... I'm getting verklempt. Okay, I'm gonna clean up, so I'll let you guys know when we're about to do the recipe. And if you have questions, please feel free to jot them down, and I'll check them just as soon as we get situated here. Okay.
No. You get down. I love you.
I know. You're a good girl. Go on. Go. Shoo. Okay.
What else can...
Okay.
Can they hear you?
Yeah, we're still live.
Oh, okay.
Clean in. Yeah, I just gotta get ready for the cooked portion. Okay, those we used. Okay. Me. Hi guys, you came to hang out with me? All right, let me get,
Excuse me.
I gotta change my earphones.
Iceland, don't yell at me. Shh, Iceland. Getting ready. Okay. Hello. Okay. Let me get.
I'm so close. So close.
You're never gonna believe this, but my tongs just broke.
Which ones?
These, the teal
Oh, you want me
ones.
to fix it?
Oh, I think I got it. Okay. Hi guys, you're making it difficult to move around because you're all right under my feet. Okay, then we need.
So what's the cook version? You gonna show?
Yes, that's what we're doing next.
Okay.
Okay. Got that. All right. Hey, Suze, can I get you to come over and wrap up this meat so that we can get it into the fridge now?
Yeah.
Thank you for your help.
You want to put it in containers?
Ziploc bags is fine.
Okay. Well, alrighty.
Thank you.
I'm moving the people's, I'm just getting by.
Okay,
If
it's
people
okay.
are wondering why you're moving,
It's all right.
I'm coming closer to the sink.
Okay,
There we go. How's that look?
that's fine. Okay,
What
here's
does
the
it look
Ziploc.
like? Can I put it back in the right spot?
It's fine. I can move it. Here. Here's the Ziploc bags. Don't worry about trying to portion anything right now.
You need the coconut flakes?
No, we're good for now.
Cranberries.
We're good for now.
Sam.
Okay.
All right. I'll
Meat.
scoot that over because the oatmeal is already cooked. All right. We are almost ready to go.
They're probably wondering where you went.
Yeah, I told him.
We don't know where she went. She went out to the blizzard.
She said she was gonna have this cook with me show, and then she just disappeared.
This is Mary and Joseph.
Ta-da! Okay. All right, I'm back. So I put the whole giant bowl down, and Chevy is laying next to it, doesn't want anything to do with it. Zoe are her portion, and the cats are going ham over it. Hilarious. What?
Hey, everybody.
What are you gonna show them?
So, if you want a good little treat, I just balled up some hamburger meat.
Yeah.
About that
Sit.
big.
No.
Marble
Sit.
size. And there we go.
Big girl. Okay, now you gotta give one to everybody else.
I will. I've got to get over there and make some patties. But
Okay.
I don't know if you ever told them that you can give them little bites of hamburger meat for treats.
Yes, you can. You can also cook them if you want to. They make great little training treats, so they're pretty fantastic.
Here you go.
So here, let's do some puppy training since I made everybody wait. Okay.
We'll start with my
Okay.
hair sticking out of my hat.
It's okay. So what we're gonna do?
Sega. Look at that.
She's already sitting. So what you want to do when you're first trying to train your puppy is you don't want to teach them with a word. You want to give them an opportunity to try to figure out what it is that you want.
And the good news is we have Velocity who does what she's supposed to do.
Right.
So she's basically the example.
Yeah.
So I'll start with her.
Here, hold on. Let me.
And she knows what she's supposed to do on.
Okay.
So she's sitting.
Well, she knows the commands.
She knows the
So here,
commands to
try.
sit.
Yeah,
But
try.
if you watch, they'll look at her, and then when I hold this up and say sit,
Good girl, Sega.
Sega's learned that she's supposed to sit. And now we've got.
Look, there you go, Sega.
There's the boy.
Good boy, Shazam.
See, Shazam is.
Oh, I'm sorry. He thought I had it. Go ahead and give it to him.
Shazam.
Good boy.
And then we have Kennedy.
Kennedy is usually the last. There you go. Good girl.
Good girl. But that's how we teach them. And they're all feeding off of her and what she's doing. So she's like the big sister.
This is how having an older dog can really be helpful when you're training a puppy.
Yeah.
So now she's going to give some to Iceland.
Iceland doesn't sit.
Iceland doesn't get any
Come
training.
here.
She's just spoiled rotten.
Here.
Okay.
I can't
Turn you around here.
So.
Okay.
Here. Oh,
Yeah,
he got it.
he got it.
You see how it stuck to the floor? That was awesome.
Okay, you guys ready to cook?
Are you doing anything with this?
Yeah, we're just going to save it for later. So you can put it in a Ziploc bag or put the whole bowl in a bag. It's fine. Okay.
There's too many choices, but I'll try to make a decision.
Okay. Allie, so I don't know if you remember when I told you about Ozzy, how he cries in the car. Well, he's gotten better now. He cries when we get to the red light.
You told me Ozzy.
Yeah?
Oh, that's fantastic. Zizi and Ozzy.
Very cool. He loves sticking his head out the window, but cries when we come to a stop. That's so cute. He's getting better. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. He's making progress, though. That's good. Okay, who's ready to start cooking?
Me. You're cooking dinner for us, right?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm cooking dog food.
Oh, they eat better than we do. Look at this food.
I know, right? Okay, so you're gonna turn your pan on, medium heat, and you can't see what I'm doing. There we go, that's better. Okay, medium heat. You can use oil if you want to. I find that especially for the puppy recipe, the meat has enough fat in it that you really don't need to add any oil to the pan. So just go ahead and get your pan started here. So what I'm gonna do, I've got all of my meats kind of portioned out here. I'm just gonna start with the ground beef because that has the highest fat content on this plate. So we're just gonna get that started.
You get out of that.
We're gonna get this party started.
She's like, drop it. Please drop it. Maybe the thighs. Leslie's like, just drop it.
Oh
Just
yeah,
drop it.
she sees the chicken.
Sizzling. Cooking the beef.
Okay. Now, if you have a big dog, you don't have to break it up into such small pieces. But if you have a smaller dog, then you'll want to break it up into smaller pieces so that it's easier for them to, get a chunk of it and chew it up.
Can't get over the prices of this meat. It's awesome.
I know. I love the Asian store. So a lot of people ask me, okay, well, where can I get meat if I don't have an Asian store near me? You can go to,
Bilos.
yeah, you can go to any discount supermarket. There are stores now that are very much like farmers markets.
Farmers? What is a farmer?
Farmers markets. Sorry, I'm tired.
Neck.
You can purchase meat from a co-op, which you'll have to do some research to find a co-op that's local to you. And you can try other types of international stores, like, you know, there may be a Jamaican market or an African market or an Indian market. All of those places, and you'll see in the video when I post it, all of those places have some really fantastic options. Get down. Down.
Well, I think these chickens had heart disease because the fat on these hearts is amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
This one needs a triple bypass.
The hearts are not usually that fatty. But again, you're getting a really cheap cut of meat. So, okay, so this is about medium rare right now. So what I'm gonna do is add in the chicken. Now that I've got a good bit of fat down in the bottom of the pan. So I'm gonna add the chicken. I'm gonna add the hearts. Again, if you have small dogs, you can cut this up into smaller pieces.
That's amazing, little hearts.
So I'm going to bring you guys in closer. So basically what we're doing is we're just using the fat that came off of that ground beef to now help cook the pieces of the chicken. And you don't have to do it in this order. You can cook the chicken first if you want to. That's also totally fine. I just find that, it's easier if you have a little bit of that beef fat kind of in the pan as you go. Okay, so let's set you guys back over here. I'm gonna drink my drink. Okay. Okay, there's no questions. All right. Now, the one thing that you want to keep in mind is that you want to cook these, think medium rare. And I know that your inclination, especially with chicken, is to cook it until it's done. But remember, this is food for dogs, not food for people.
Am I shaking the camera?
No, you're fine. Okay. So, we got these chicken pieces going medium rare right here. Just gonna let them cook a little bit longer. Now, the canned salmon is in and of itself already cooked, so you don't need to cook that. You don't need to cook that.
I held the bag up and say goodbye.
Okay, so I just put the liver in the pan. If your dog is particularly sensitive and doesn't want to eat liver, if they don't like it, you can blend it, you can chop it up really small. When I'm making big batches, I like to blend it with the fish and berries, and it kind of masks the flavor of the liver. That way the dogs will eat it, no problem. Okay. I'm gonna turn my heat off here because I'm getting a little too hot. Ooh, careful.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It was the easiest way to get the oatmeal.
No, that's okay.
It did have oatmeal on it.
Okay. Now that we've cooked everything, kind of medium rare, we'll leave the liver in there a little bit longer. You can take this and you could strain it. That would be fine. I would normally strain it, but I'm not going to do that because you guys, I've got Sue's over on the other side of the counter putting meat away, so, and I'm not trying to, you know, keep you guys all night long. All night long.
All night.
Thank you.
All night.
Okay.
Who
so,
sings it?
I don't know.
Lionel Richie.
Okay, Lionel Richie, there you go. All right.
Get it right.
Okay. So there we go. Here's all of our meat cooked. It actually smells really good.
It's making me hungry.
I know, it's crazy how that happens.
I'm already
So if you were going to feed this, you can still see the steam kind of coming up off of it. You obviously want this to cool before you A, give it to your dog, but more importantly, B, before you add your supplements. So what I'm gonna do is let this cool. I'll add the oatmeal over to the side, and then I'll add the supplements over into the oatmeal, stir it up just like we did for the last recipe, and they'll be good to go. So, and they are just dying for me to set this bowl down, so I'm gonna set it down over here.
What? Make sure everybody gets to it.
Yeah, I will. Okay, so again, if you don't want to do the chicken feet, then you could add in the calcium powder. Okay, let me go back. Jenny said, my dogs love liver. Well, you should count yourself lucky, because there are some dogs that are just ridiculous. They hate all organ meat. They don't want to have anything to do with it. It's very odd. And I think it's because of generations and generations of feeding kibble, right? Dogs get a taste for sweet, right? Because they add sugar to it. If you see the, what is it? Fructose something. Anyway.
Glucosamine?
No, the fructose. I'll have to show it on a label. Anyway, yeah, that's just sugar. It's fruit sugar.
Because this isn't fitting.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Yeah.
broken.
Okay, yes, I do want to keep it. Can we, don't worry about using that lid though. Just put it in a Ziploc bag. One of those big bags. Just the whole can. And that'll be fine. Yeah, just the whole can. Because we'll use it up tomorrow. Okay, sorry. We're trying to clean up here. Okay. When making bug batches, I think that's supposed to be big batches, do you freeze it raw, then cook, or cook and then freeze? Okay, so if you're going to serve it raw, then you can assemble all of your foods and then put them in Tupperware containers and freeze them, and then thaw them, right, the night before you need it, and then serve. Or if you're going to serve it cooked, cook it, assemble all the ingredients, portion it out, and then freeze it. So, and I have some cooking videos too on my channel that'll show you that process. I show it from start to finish with a whole cooked recipe on how I blend everything, get the ingredients together, portion it out into Tupperware containers, wait for it to cool, and then put it in the freezer. Angela said hers love liver too. You guys are lucky.
Let me tell you something. One of my favorite things in the world is fried chicken livers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I bet dogs would like fried chicken livers too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Crystal says, what age do you start giving puppies supplements in their food? That depends. So, if you guys have been around for very long, hang on. If you guys have been around for very long, then you know that I say supplement with a purpose. So it's going to depend on what that supplement is, what your goal is. If your goal is to, let's say your dog's skin and coat is dry because it's winter. So you're adding a fish oil, a kelp supplement, and green tripe to their meals. And then after a few months, you notice, hey, they're not really itching anymore. Their skin is great. Their coat is great. Okay, then you can kind of cut back on those supplements. You don't just add that to their food forever and ever. So if they're they're eating a complete and balanced diet, then they shouldn't be missing out on, you know, things that you need to supplement for. Usually supplementing is for a specific purpose. So to answer that question, at what age, it depends on the puppy. If you have a puppy that's needing a boost for their immune system, you could start adding a probiotic. If they're having trouble vomiting up their food, you may consider doing a digestive enzyme to help them with their food. So it really just depends on the puppy and what you're supplementing for. Okay, Crystal said my dog does not eat kibble like that TikTok you shared is the only reason why he eats it now. He's super picky. Yeah. Well, one of the things you can do, hey guys, take it easy. Everybody woke up. So one of the things you can do is really blend down either your raw or your home cooked food, and then mix the kibble in it completely. So you can add a bone broth to it. You can add a little bit of cottage cheese or something like that, just to make it a little bit soupy. And a lot of times that will help. Everybody is going to be so amped up now. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, the dogs are amped up now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close, but we're going to do some more cook with me sessions like this. Yes, please. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you have more questions, feel free to pop them in the, are we okay?
Yeah, her nose is a little red.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Just making sure everybody's okay. So if you have other questions, make sure that you pop them either in the comments or make a new post. You can post them in our little Cook With Me group if you'd like, or you can post them in the main group. I just want to leave this here for people so that they have an easy reference that they can go back to, and we'll do all of our Cook With Me sessions here. So thank you guys so much for being here. I see all the little messages where people are saying thank you. Crystal said, can't wait for next time. Good, good. Well, we'll pick some other recipes that don't have chicken, because I know that was a request. We'll do some adult recipes also. Oh, Angela, thank you. And you have a great night too. I want you guys to all have a great night. And if you know of somebody who might find this helpful, or who is overwhelmed with the thought of preparing food for their dog, even if it's to add to the kibble that they're already feeding, you don't have to go 100% raw, then make sure you show them this video. Make sure that you invite them to our group. Make sure that you tell them to join our cult. Our cult of people who love dogs. Okay. I hope you guys have a great night.
Cult of personality.
We'll see you in the next video.